Hello and welcome to the Beauty Dharma Summit. I'm Leslie Kristen and I am so excited to be here with the beautiful Sofia L. Gonzalez. Thank you, Sofia, for being here with me. She is in the natural beauty over there outside in Florida with this fabulous yellow. I know. So there's probably a lot of people that are watching this that are up north going, I think I need to go to Florida soon.
Yes, it is so beautiful. It's perfect weather right now.
It is. We finally, the humidity is kind of gone down several notches and it's beautiful. So welcome, Sofia. I am going to share a little bit about who you are before we go into our questions. And so Sofia is a speaker, brand strategist, and business consultant. She is the founder of Passionista LLC and the Purpose, Passion, and Profit Summit. She has studied at Kent State University for public relations and marketing, and also did a prestigious internship for marketing with Disney. She has been in business since 2012, and her first company was called I Am Creates You. And that was a branding agency, which then was rebranded into Affluence Media Agency, which was a HubSpot partner. So that's amazing. And with that, you served luxury brands with inbound marketing. As a brand and business strategist, she helps establish coaches, consultants, and service-based entrepreneurs to create a profitable brand that people know, love, and trust. She is the expert in helping businesses to be seen, known, and paid on and offline from their brand through one-on-one coaching, group coaching, online courses, and live events. Can't wait till those happen again in person. Sophia's helped companies like Universal Studios, Disney, De Latinos Magazine, the Cardones, and industry fashion shows. She's also worked with medical practices, speakers, politicians, consultants to help them get the advantages of branding their marketing strategy. That sounds like what every single person needs. All of us. So welcome, Sofia. Thank you so much for being here. I know you just got off of your own personal summit, which was an amazing success. And thank you. She's still glowing. You can see the glow. It feels so good to help people out and to, be able to live in our passion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Leslie, for having me as well. I'm so honored to be able to be here on your platform.
Oh my gosh, I am thrilled that you're here. And I know we have both been super busy, but I know that you had a little bit of time and I'm like, let's do it.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you your first question.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, what does beauty mean to you?
Well, I think beauty is something that we embody. I believe that anyone could be pretty, but I think beauty is something that we embody, is something that comes from within each of us. And I believe a lot of people attract to the true inner person. When you really know who you are, you can be able to really showcase that beauty. And so I just really believe that beauty is just something that you embody within, and that just radiates and attracts your ideal client, your ideal friends, your ideal people that you want in your life.
That's beautiful. That is so it. That's been the common thread throughout all of our speakers. It's just really digging down in there and exploring who we are and just allowing it to shine, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice. So the second question is when did you discover your own beauty?
Well, okay, so I have to be honest. Okay, so the first time I actually really remember myself really feeling like I was really beautiful, and it was when I was younger. I used to put on my mom's clothes. I used to put her makeup on. I used to go inside the mirror and just dress up and just really felt like I was free and uncaged. I remember my mom used to tell me, like, I used to just like kind of like stare at myself in the mirror and just like pretend as if I was one of like the actresses or models or whatever. And I just was really, really just in awe of maybe becoming a star or do something really crazy in the future.
That's cool. And so what happened from then?
So from then, you know, as life, you know, life kind of shifts as you're growing older and the pressures of the world kind of what society defines beauty as. And so grew up actually in Miami, and my mom and dad decided that they got a new job offer in Ohio, and I actually had to move in a whole new area that really didn't embody who I was and what I grew up from. So in Miami, there's so much flavor, there's so much identity, there's so many different types of people. And then getting jumped into the suburbs of mostly Caucasian, I was probably like the only Black person or Afro-Latina inside the community, and learning how to like merge and grow in my identity was really hard for me. But then as I grew older, I really learned how to hone in and actually realize like that's actually like my superpower, not really feeling like I fit in any area, and that it was actually my superpower to have my own identity and show who I am and who I am right now.
That's beautiful. Share with me a little bit more about, you said you are Afro-Latina. So share
Yeah.
with me a little bit about what, each one of your parents, where did they come from? Where did you identify? Because Miami is like a melting pot of all kinds of ethnicities and nationalities. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so my dad's side of the family is my dad's Puerto Rican. His family's from San Juan, Catano. And then my mom, she's Puerto Rican as well. And her family's from Ponce. And so when I was growing up, I was influenced with a lot of different cultures. But as growing up, my parents didn't teach me how to speak Spanish. But my dad did pastor a church that was Spanish. So I was able to still have my culture, learn how to dance, eat food, and just really embody like my culture. But in terms of the language, I didn't, just for some reason I just couldn't get it. I don't know what's going on with me on that area, but it's all right.
So you don't speak Spanish.
No, I don't speak Spanish, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why I always felt like I was never enough for the Latina community. Like I
Mhm.
wasn't Puerto Rican enough, or I wasn't Spanish enough because I didn't know Spanish and I was dark skinned. And then I would go with like African American community. I wasn't Black enough to be a part of the Black community because either my hair or I mean I just don't know the culture. To then going into in the suburbs area and or to the white area or to the Caucasians and just not being like white enough. So I kind of had to learn how to merge and be like a chameleon in each sector where I was. And so learn how to also hold my own place in each sector. So
Yes. And that is, it's such an interesting conversation about, because I think so many people, of course, you've been defined a little bit more by the color of your skin.
yeah,
However, you've kind of experienced segregation through not speaking a language, or um, you know, not necessarily being African American. You're,
right.
Afro-Latina, as you call yourself. And so it really, like you said, your superpower is you've kind of became this fun chameleon, I want to say.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess my alter ego would probably be Latina diva. But everybody since I was younger would call me Latina diva. And so now I kind of like changed that into passionista. So yes.
I love that. I love that. And so how did you find like segueing yourself into, because we were sharing a little bit before, I grew up in Spain, and it's interesting for me because the European culture, even though I do speak Spanish fluently, And it's the European culture moving over here is so different from the Latina culture, like
Mm,
it's you don't have, maybe a little bit more now, but necessarily like you go to Spain and a lot of you like there's people that are blonde and blue-eyed, and you don't have that Afro culture mixture like you do in all the Latin countries. My mother's originally from Nicaragua.
oh, nice.
Yeah, so but she's also kind of, very fair skinned, but growing up in Europe, and then I was planted back over here. I call it planted. My mother made me come back to the United States at the age of 20, and I didn't fit in at all. Like I didn't grow up here. I didn't go to high school here. I didn't, and it was very difficult for me to adjust, moving in. And it wasn't necessarily, it wasn't a skin thing, it was really an environment thing.
Yes.
So for you, share a little bit more about what it was like when you went to Ohio, and when did you discover these superpowers? Because it had to be somewhere around there, somewhere, right?
No, I would say my experience moving to Ohio, I absolutely love Ohio. Ohio is my home. Like, I love where I grew up. My parents did everything they could to make sure that I went to a great school. And so that's why we were in the neighborhood that we were in. However, my parents or my dad actually had a church in more of like the lower income community, and like learning how to be able to like balance in between the different economic classes and also different like social classes and skin color and all those different things. I think when I really learned that that was actually like my superpower was actually as an adult, because I've always kind of was just like trying to be in search of myself. And it wasn't until just maybe maybe when I actually came to Disney, at the Disney for the marketing internship, where I kind of like was like, man, I can mesh with anybody. Like, I have so many great friends. I can be able to talk to anybody from any class anywhere that I go to. And so um I actually turned that into my superpower, because I know that there's a lot of women out there that have kind of like identity issues, identity crises, and they don't know how they want to show up online. Whether you're a mom, and when you really recognize that women are so multidimensional, multifaceted, and so sometimes we want to just show up as one area, but really we can be able to showcase all of us. Like, when you see me on social media, I show myself as a Zumba instructor, I show myself as a brand and business strategist, I'm a worship leader, I'm a sister, I am all these beautiful things. But sometimes we always feel like we have to put ourselves in like a box, like a caged box, like we only have to show up this way. And so what I love what I do is helping women uncage themselves and show up online as who they really are and get paid from it with their
Yeah,
personal brand. So
absolutely. There's nothing better. I think you and I, I so many of these different speakers. I mean, we all have, it's just such a beautiful group of women that we all have made a living at doing something that really helps women unravel their superpower, whether I get to show them from the outside how they can just feel more beautiful, just like you, what your voice is, right? You're kind of like helping them express their voice through social media, through their brand, telling the world, and it's not something that comes overnight. So
yeah.
what are some of the things that have helped you to discover that, that other people could do too? Like what is some of the process?
Well, some of the process is just really getting real with like your story and where did you start off? Just like me, I had to get real of like, these are like a lot of the pain that I went through was for a purpose. And that actually kind of steered me of why I'm doing the things that I'm doing today. Like, really honing in, like, what is your why of why you want to help someone? And a lot of the times, like the past traumas that we go through are the reasons why we want to help other people. Whether it was someone that made fun of us for the weight that we had, like if we're gaining weight or if we're too small. There's a lot of health coaches. That's the reason why you guys want to help someone, is because maybe that's what happened in your story and now you want to help other people overcome that. So it's a lot of overcoming stories. So I help people really uncover like their story, their true story. What are their getting past like the limiting beliefs that they have for themselves right in the beginning of like what their brand is and how they want to show up, and then going into what do they want, what do they like, how do they want to show up in the world. And so we can do that from like the visual aspect, and then really like claiming what their mission statement is, what is their who do they actually want to help. So I really hone in on like who do they want to help, how do they want to show up as, and what is the visuals that go around that. And so I go through a whole process of helping them go through that self-awareness stage to really putting it out into the world and manifesting that through the coaching program that I facilitate.
That's fantastic. Okay, so something that just came to me right now that I have to ask you about is because you are on the Beauty Dharma Summit, which is, the purpose of beauty. And there's no coincidence that you have this beautiful beam of light that is shining right over your right shoulder at times.
Really?
It is. So you will see that when you watch this recording.
Okay, amazing.
It is amazing. So I want to ask you, because you have a strong inner light that comes through with you. Where does that, obviously you were talking a little bit about your father, but where does that tie into your life?
The light that's inside of me?
Yeah.
That comes from God. I actually have to give that all to God and give him all the glory. He really has shaped me into the person that I am, and with my identity in him. I feel like he uses me as a vessel to be that light to other people, especially when they're in the dark place. And so that light, that inner light, truly just comes from God, and like my relationship with him and the love that he gives to me that I can be able to outpour into other people. So that is really where it comes from. It's from God. It's God, all God.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, that just, it's so wonderful having these different conversations and just little things that come to me. This is where I love the realness of these conversations, and just speaking to, because whatever we're talking about and whomever is listening to these things, this is about being real, and this is what captures, who we get to work with, who aligns with us. It's not about, I don't think people care like, oh, I've worked with this, actor and this celebrity and whatever, because we're all celebrities. That was just such a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much, Sofia. And I wanted to ask you, so how can, people that are interested in learning more about your fabulosity, yourself, how can they reach you? And I know that you have a special gift for our clients as well. So share a little bit about that.
Well, you can definitely go to my website at Sofia. It's actually at www.sofiaelgonzalez.com. But really, I'm actually creating a movement of women called Passionistas. And I just made a free group called Passionistas. You're going to be learning so much about branding, marketing, social media. And I'm going to be having amazing guest experts at this Facebook group. You're going to be able to get that community accountability that you need in this group. And so I definitely think it would be advantageous for you guys to join my group. It's called Passionista, and you'll see my face right on the screen, so you know it's me. And in terms of the free gift, I'm actually giving out a free one-on-one brand takeover, countdown to takeoff strategy session for 60 minutes.
Oh, wow. Well, that's very generous, because I know you're super busy. You're, just like firecracker everywhere. Like Talk about brand takeover. That is Sofia. So thank you, Sofia. You are just a dear. It has been, we've known each other for a couple years, but kind of like, we kind of like, mix into our lives here and there. It's just been so beautiful that you have, really shared so much. I've learned a whole lot about you that I didn't necessarily know. And, it really brings a lot of richness to the beauty dharma conversation. So I thank you so much. And we will see all of you on the next session. Thank you so, so much. Have a absolute beautiful day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.